Okay, here we are. Going to build the feeding system. We built the watering system previously. Now we're going to build the feeders. I've done a little bit of this ahead of time, but basically you just take some 5-gallon buckets, and again I chose white because they're semi-transparent, so you'll be able to see when there's food inside of them. You're going to need a couple lids to go on top of them, and because I'm hanging them by the handle, and I need to make sure I hang them this way, the fill hole is going to be on this side here. This will also be facing the outside, so when I put 3 of these in, I'm going to face 2 of them on this side, one here, and then one straight in the middle, so there'll be 3, but I don't want anything, I want to keep them as far away from the outside as possible with still allowing the food to get in. So I've drilled one and put it in just so you can see how it kind of works. Of course that one chipped, but basically the chickens come up, stick their head in there and get the feed, and then it fills from the top, and it can't overflow or fall out because it's got enough, it's not like water, it's a solid. So anyway, that's kind of what the finished product will end up looking like. Here's the 3 steps. So these are 1.5 inch, I believe. Or no, I'm sorry, these are 2 inch. 2 inch elbows, street elbows, so they got a flange on one end and a regular 2 inch on the other end. And the first cut I make is I cut it like this to kind of give it a little bit of a rain shield, and leaving this lip on. What this allows you to do is, kind of have a good seal, or like something that's not, a little smaller or bigger than the hole that it's going to go into. And then after you cut it like that, then I cut it down like this. I did about maybe 2 1/4 inches, or 2 3/4 inches, I'm sorry, to cut it down, so that when it goes in, that's all the further it sticks in, and that's what the final product looks like inside the bucket. So I'm going to do a couple more here, and I'll cut a couple more, and then I'll show you how they all look when they're all done. Okay, so here's the final product. Just like the watering system, the feeding system, this is attempt 2 at doing everything. So I learned some stuff from my first failure, and one of the big things I learned from the first failure was this style here does not work for the feeder. So while it works for the water, hence the watering tube is a spin out on the inside, with the thread being on the inside like that, it ends up still seeping water around this little crack here and flows down the tube. So when you do them, do this style, which is to screw on top. So that way when any water hits, it can only go down the pipe. It can't actually get inside this cap. So that'll prevent you a lot of headache. Trust me, I learned that lesson the hard way. So at any rate, here, this was the second attempt at doing the feeder, and this is what my final product is, and I like the system a lot. So again, you got your 5-gallon bucket, and in the previous portion of this video here, you saw how I made these. I cut the pipes, and then I put some PL 400 glue, or PL Premium I think they call it now, glue around it to kind of seal that in. And once the seal was done, I snapped the lid on, and then I hung it by these, I guess it's like pipe hanger for using in the basement, but it's hung by the handle, and then also by the edges of the bucket with a screw in it to hold it up actually to the coop itself. So, and then with the way this works is all you do is you unscrew that cap, and I put a funnel in there, and I just fill the funnel, and it fills into the bucket. So these 2 buckets hold about 40 pounds of feed. I can't quite get a 50-pound bag in there, but it's pretty nice. We got 15 chickens, and it takes them about a week and a half, 2 weeks to go through all the feed. And same thing with the watering system over there that's in one of my other videos. It takes about 2 weeks for them to go through the water. So, but yeah, the feeding system is really nice for anybody like me that doesn't necessarily have the time to come out and feed them every day. This allows them to get food whenever they want, and it keeps it pretty dry and clean. And with the smaller opening, I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous part of this video or not, but that opening there is a 2 inch. Again, I learned my lesson from that previously. I had used 3 inch before, and they were able to get their heads in there and sling the food out. So I definitely recommend using the little smaller one. They have no problem sticking their head in and craning around and eating every last piece of food that's in that bucket. So you don't have to worry about them not being able to fit their head in there. But I definitely would say the 2 inch for the opening. And then all of this piping here is all 1.5 inch. It was ample and less expensive, and just seemed to do a great job. So, and then it's screwed to the coop with these brackets here. Just real easy to do. So that's the food and watering system of the coop. in the next video here, I'll show you the actual coop itself and how we have everything set up with that. So thanks for watching.